welcome to the June NAMM Show 2022. We're here in the MIDI Association Studio 108 booth, and we are here with some really interesting people who do incredible stuff with MIDI. And you were both entrants into the MIDI 2022 MIDI Innovation Award, right?
That's right.
Yeah. Can you hold up your products so everybody can see? No, those can't be MIDI controllers. They're too colorful and fun.
Yeah.
The most fun MIDI controllers.
Yeah, so let's talk about what we wanted to talk about mostly was what brought you to develop something in the case of Artifon.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what was kind of the motivation for creating something like the Orba?
Well, the Orba is designed to be a really approachable instrument. We want people to feel really comfortable exploring, playing, creating right away, to literally touch sound and feel like they have the agency to be able to create just immediately, just to express right away.
Yeah, you said a couple of my favorite words like, you know, creativity and accessibility too. And I think the same thing is true for you, Pascal.
Yeah. So for us, we wanted to make music accessible to everyone. And what we try to do is to create use an object that everybody already knows, like a ball, that you can bounce, you can throw around, that has that physical characteristic associated to it, and transform it into something that you can create music with. And the ball has already a lot of rhythmical characteristics to it, so it felt really natural to associate those characteristics of the ball to music.
That's awesome. And it's interesting because if you look at them, it's like, that's like half of an oddball is an Orba.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things that I think both of you were focused on in terms of the creation was to make it accessible in particular for young kids. So actually in Anaheim, we're in Anaheim at the June 2022 NAMM Show. There are kids in Anaheim who are using the Orba in their classroom.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So the Anaheim Elementary School District uses Orba, and they actually developed an entire curriculum on their own, which I love to see. You know, we have our own lessons and curricula, but we love to see innovative teachers use our products in the way that works really for their classroom. And so they developed a curriculum called Orba and Feelings that's all about self-expression and social emotional learning. And the Orba has been really impactful in their classrooms in that way, to be able to, adhere to some SEL frameworks like self-expression and identifying feelings. It's been a really incredible thing to watch.
Yeah, we do a lot of work with MIDI in music therapy, and one of the things that music therapy is used for a lot is for patients to express their feelings of fear,
Mm-hmm.
pain. You know, when you're in a hospital, it's so uncomfortable. Pascal, talk a little bit about, have you seen kids? I mean, like, kids never play with balls, right?
No, they don't, right? I mean, if you look at people that actually get the product, a third of them are all parents that get it for their kids, and what they say,
Really?
it's the other want their kids to approach music, so it's a very approachable tool to start learning music. Actually, sometimes we talk about it when you learn music. There are two things you need to learn. You need to learn about harmony and melody and rhythm. With the ball, you're actually we made the software so that the melody part of it is done by the software. You just need to learn the rhythm. So if you know how to bounce a ball and you are rhythmical with it, then you can make music both rhythmical and melodic. And in the UK, we're actually working with a lot of organizations that are bringing the ball into school to do different type of things, because there are some characteristics of it, like you can bounce it, you can drop it on the floor and nothing happens, it doesn't break. It's colorful, so you can associate it to different concepts in a classroom. And so we've got people that are teaching music with it, that are teaching about math with it, because you can make the class interactive while at the same time teaching about these concepts. And there was one video that we received from a teacher that bought 3 or 4 balls for a school, and he sent this video out of the blue. And as you open the video, there are 4 kids on stage. It's a recital. Each one of them has a ball, and they're like, each one of them is bouncing it, is tapping at the same time, and they're playing like a famous melody, like, I don't know, Twinkle Twinkle Little Star.
That's great.
And it was like, oh, this is great. Like, they're just doing it this simply.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that I think these new kinds of accessible MIDI interfaces have done is they. I grew up and I always played the piano, so I always knew what a C scale was. I can't remember learning it, but I know a lot of people are like, they look at a guitar or a piano and they just find it intimidating. It's like, what do the white notes do? What do the black notes do? If I touch the black notes, will something explode and bad happen? They really have very odd, feelings about music, and it's very intimidating. And a lot of acoustic instruments, like I played the flute, it took me a couple of weeks to get a sound out of it. Whereas these, you get the sound, right away. The interesting thing is you both had another thing that's the same in terms of the design, is you went with what I call a bespoke app, right? So you have a physical controller and then you have an application, a mobile application. Can you talk a little bit about, what's in the application and how does that help people kind of engage with it? So.
Yeah. So the Orba has an onboard synth and internal speaker here, also an 8th out, so headphones for wild exploration that I use with kids a lot. So just take it, but let's put those headphones in. And the app that connects through Bluetooth is how we can load new presets, new sounds, and be able to explore just a wide variety of options. So that's our own app, but of course can be hooked into any DAW as a controller and be used in that fashion as well.
That's great. And you have an app too?
Yeah, we've got an app where basically the ball is just a MIDI controller, sends MIDI data to the app. In the app is sample based, so you've got lots of melodical, percussive instruments that work through samples. And when you play with the ball, you're gonna play sounds through the app, so you can connect a big speaker. One time we connected the phone to a theater speaker system, so we could play with the ball in a theater and it was very loud. So that's makes it very fun.
So let me ask you about your experience at the June NAMM show. Did you both what was your experience? You have Arlen has a booth. It was busy.
Yeah, a lot of people. We just launched Orba 2.
Yep.
And Orba 2 plays samples, real instrument sounds, and so that there's a lot of excitement around that instrument, and we were able to launch that at NAMM. So it's been a really exciting show for us.
Yeah, and Pascale, you were here and you were part of kind of the MIDI Association booth. And what were your thoughts about the NAMM show?
It's first time for me. So
really,
yeah, it's the first time. I live in London, so it's like difficult to take part in these opportunities. But it was great to see the crowd. We saw at some point I was there with some people making them play with the ball, and it was very cool. But also I think NAMM is great for networking, to meet new people, to expand what you can do with your products. Like you have so many people here that work in different fields, and it's really useful to hear what their perspective about your product. So yeah, I
have to tell you, we have 4 students from Chapman University who are helping us out, and one of the girls came up to me and she said, Let me demo the oddball for you. And she went like this. She turned it on. She turned on the app, and she was like, "Look at how cool this was." She was selling me on the oddball. So yeah, it was great. Like that. Okay, sorry. I think we're going to wrap it up now. Thank you so much for joining us here, and we'll be back in April of 2023. We hope you can join us back then.
All right. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.